A desert landscape can turn flat very quickly on watercolor. But if we keep the distance after, warm up the ground as it comes forward, and use sharper shadows in the right places, then the whole scene starts to feel hot, dry, and full of space. Hi, I'm Beatriz. Welcome back to the studio. Today we will be painting this desert scene step by step, and I will show you how we can get that open, sunbaked feeling of the painting without overworking any part of it. So what we're waiting for, let's get our brushes and let's start with the sky. So we're gonna start with the sky, wet on wet. Yes, I'm wetting over the cactus. It's gonna be green, so don't worry about it. Then I want this painting to feel like it is bright and open. So before we build the heat in the ground, we want to have a couple clouds and very simple sky. I'm gonna come with French ultramarine from the top and cobalt blue for the bottom. Let's just get, maybe we can have a cloud here, and maybe we can have a few clouds, I don't know, say around here. By making the clouds, I mean I'm painting around them. I'm not painting the clouds. It's just not gonna drop any color. Just start bringing the French Ultra. Okay. Now, if you wanna paint along with me, you wanna have the tracing, reference pictures, and colors, etc. They are all in my Patreon. I'm gonna put the link here, and then go into Open Studio, and that's where you will find it. Let's just put these two together, and maybe a little bit darker here. So we got one big cloud. Just blending brush. I'm gonna have a brush that has nothing, no color, and very little water. Let me connect this a little bit. It seems like this cloud is too big and we have another big one, so let's just break it up a little. And I'm not gonna do much more. Just let it dry by itself, because the sky is there, it needs to be painted. But in this painting, the foreground is the protagonist. So for the colors for these red mountains in the distance, I want this to be even farther away than this. And this is gonna be what it really matters. So I'm coming with a mix of yellow ochre, and I added a little bit of magenta. I don't know, maybe this part maybe a little bit more yellow ochre. Let's just do a little bit of this here, and then we're gonna switch to get a little bit more magenta with a little bit of the neutral tint, and we're gonna put some of that more here. Let's just put some over here too, like if it's a little bit more rocky over here, and then I'm just gonna come with water, top. This painting, we're gonna be using a lot of earth tones. So this is my burnt sienna, very diluted with a little bit of the yellow ochre. I'm gonna put an underpainting for right now, and then we will come back with other colors. For the cactus, I'm going green, underpainting meaning going with light colors, and then it's just establishing the shapes where I want some of the warmer colors, closer obviously, farther away they need to be a little bit cooler, but I'm not putting any details. We're just going to establish the shapes, like the cactus shapes, the bigger groups of greenery, etc. Like I mentioned, this is gold green, sap green with a little bit of the neutral tint, because I want farther colors, less bright. Colors that are farther away, less bright. All right, so I'm gonna be doing this. It's basically, I'm gonna alternate between sap green, yellow ochre, and burnt sienna, which I have some over here too. And I'm just gonna build the feeling of the place, and I'm gonna put any details yet. But this may take a little bit of time, so I'm gonna fast forward. So let's start with warmer colors as we move forward. Let's bring in the yellow. The greens, I'm gonna continue to stay muted because this is a dry landscape. For the prickly pear cactus, since it's closer to us, I'm giving them more color variations and also more detail. Then for the foreground, let's bring more Indian yellow, burnt sienna, a little bit of permanent rose so that we can warm up the earth tones even more. And after that, we're gonna let all this dry. Well, we have established a sense of place. We already know where the greeneries are and where we're gonna have a little bit more brightness. So now it's time to start building some details. Just coming back with the same colors that I was having, but in a couple places, I am gonna build this this color a little bit stronger. That's all. This part over here of the mountains, I'm going to keep it a little bit with the purple as well. So I just basically applying the shadows. I'm coming with the yellow ochre to the places where they have less shadow, so to speak. This part I'm going to have yellow ochre mixed with a little bit of neutral tint. And we're going to have to let all of this dry, then we will come and put the shadows. And a sunny day like this, we're trying to get the feeling of heat. The shadows are always sharp. And here, yes, yellow ochre with burnt sienna, we're going to start warming this part up. Okay, so now we're going to, while this dries, we're going to start taking care of some of this distance greenery. Two things. One, I'm coming with an olive green, but diluted, because the principle stays the same. Things they are far away do not have bright colors, and they also have very little detail. Finally, with the same color as I was using for that, but slightly thicker. I just drop a little. Go with a blending brush, tap, tap, tap. I'm not making any shapes. This is a good time to put this far cactus because again it's in the distance, so it's not going to have much detail. The only thing that I'm doing is putting it a little bit darker in this end. Then rinse, go with water onto the other end. I'm going to put a couple things standing here, and our brain will read them as if they are more cactuses. But because I'm putting them so tiny, then they're gonna give us like more sense of distance, more farther away. All right, burnt sienna with neutral tint. We're gonna start putting darken a little bit more of these shadows. Now this part is hidden by the sun, so we go a little bit warmer, so more on the burnt sienna. And this is also the part, again, that will have more light. We're just doing the shapes by using light and shadow, that's all. I'm coming with a little of the permanent rose, and then I blend. So this part is closer, I wanted to warm it up, so therefore I'm coming with the permanent rose, a little bit darker in some, and then lighter in the others. So darker over here, maybe a little bit dark here too. Tap with water. And over here we cut as if it is one ridge and then the other one. So we are not putting every detail, however by putting these dark crevices, they're already giving the sense of being mountains. Just to finish these mountains, it's just coming with the same colors, more diluted. And just to finish all this up, these mountains, I'm coming with a very diluted, very diluted, transparent, translucent orange, and I'm gonna glaze over this so it kind of puts it all together. Glazing means I'm dropping the color, I am not pushing. I go ahead and start drop a little dark things here and there as if they are bushes in the distance. Just get the impressions of a bush, that's all. If I come like here, let's just put another cactus around here. That's also gonna add sense of distance. Now this is closer than those. Tap, 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 tap in the top part, and then go with water. Gonna look at as if some of them are coming from more to less. Again, little greenery here and there. Tap, tap, tap with water. Sometimes just a couple dots like this, double, is enough for our eyes to read as if it is some of the desert greenery. At this point, the sky, the distant mountains, and far away greenery are in place, and I'm gonna start putting any detail on it, otherwise I will start bringing that forward. From here, we will be moving into the midground, the big saguaro cactus, and some of the other desert plants. Here we can start adding a little bit more detail so that we can start make the place feel believable. And to start warming up our ground is Indian yellow, and the ground is going to help a lot give the feeling of dryness and a hot day. And all of that is the distance, so we can start bringing it in here for the middle ground. We will come with other colors here, but I want that in the distance and this the middle ground. So I'm coming with the Indian yellow around here as well. In this area here, because it's so close to us, I'm doing a little bit of negative painting, meaning I come with the Indian yellow, bring it inside, then allow some of that green to show. So painting around it, and it's giving me kind of like the stuff of this cactus. I want to go ahead and start painting this, I think it's called the saguaro cactus, something like that. Gold green. I'm bringing it all the way to the bottom. This is going to be our brighter color of the cactus where the sun is hitting. So while this dries, before we come with the darks, it's a good time to start building the greenery around. So I'm doing the mix with green gold and olive green. I want my greens to be muted because this is also adding to the sense of a dry, sunny, hot day. While this is wet, let's just put a little darks here at the bottom. And yes, once I darken the cactus, I may have to come back. But I just want to give the impression of some distant greenery. Actually, I can also do that if I put a couple, like if there are two cactuses far. If I put a very tiny, that's going to give the impression that they're far. Just like that. Let's bring it into this other side as if these are also far. And I'm going to take this opportunity to make a little bit of the edge of this closer bush. So go zigzagging back and forth. Some of that is going to be here. Put some of this darkest here as well. And then come blend, 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 blend. This is a bush. And we are building our middle ground by putting some of these muted greens, bring them out. And now we're going to start with the main saguaro cactus. This is one of the anchors of the painting, so we can have more contrast than in the other plants. So I'm coming here with olive green, very thick. We're going to start putting the main shadow, which is going to go around this side of the cactus. Again, one with shadow. This one is the one that has the shadow, and the other one we are gonna blend with a little bit of the color. All right, so we're gonna allow that to dry, and once it's dry, we can come back and put the ridges. In the meantime, I'm coming here to build the greenery on these bushes at the bottom. Green gold with Indian yellow, now green gold by itself. The greeneries in the desert are never bright, and that also gives more of the feeling of dryness. And then we come with the darks, sap green with olive green, and then we're gonna start putting some darks here at the bottom. And with the same darks, I'm doing a little bit of negative painting, meaning when I drop them, I'm trying to think about these yucca spikes. So I put in it like that. But I'm going to do the same thing for these other bushes. I'm going to go with the same dark that I was using for the cactus. And then I'm going to do like a rigid, so this bush doesn't feel like it's all compact. And then I can choose to either leave some of this light, which is what I'm going to do over there, or bring a little bit of the warmer color, more of the Indian yellow, and the ends. I'm gonna go ahead and start with this yucca cactus. First, we're gonna be using negative painting. Make kind of like a V. Go with burnt sienna, and then blend it out. And then this way we start making the spikes of the yucca cactus. Basically what we're doing is using the colors of the ground. At this point I'm coming with sap green and green gold, and then I start going making the spikes on the other direction. I do want some of the underpainting to show. That's gonna give, so they're not gonna be perfect one on top of the other, but that is gonna make it feel more realistic, more real. Of course we will have to go with darks over there, but we need to wait for it to dry, otherwise everything is gonna blend. I'm gonna fill up these little holes that we have here with dropping a little bit of green. That may be a little too bright, so tap it down and bring them more dull. So I think that I'm gonna go ahead and start building this one, but it's gonna be a repetition of that, so I think I'm gonna fast forward for you. Before I finish the foreground, I want to spend a little bit of time in this prickly pear cactus because it's the plant that has the most color and it's closer to us, so we can put more details. But it's not only that. This prickly pear is in one corner, and then it carries the eye onto the big saguaro cactus, and therefore it is good for the composition because it makes our eyes travel around the whole painting. So we start by putting more detail and more color on this prickly pear cactus. First, permanent rose. This is kind of like the only pop of color other than the earth tones that are going to be in the painting. Every single one of them is not going to have it. I just only putting it in a couple, maybe one here too, and that's it. Only where I see the light ones, I can go with the sap green first, and then for the other ones, I can go ahead and go darker from the get-go. Sap green with olive green, and then we're going to go ahead and start putting some of them. With the darker greens, I come around them. I tap it either with water or with the olive green and sap green. So what we're creating here are the shadows. I don't know if you can see shadows, light, but of course they are backlit, so we're creating them a little bit differently. All of these will be in shadow. So over here it's all dark, and then we make kind of like the typical shape of this cactus. At this point here we are going to be making a big blob of darker color. We don't need to start doing the shapes. Our eyes will fill it up in a minute as they are, but it's also getting lower to the ground. So what I'm going to do is start bringing some burnt sienna, and then between the burnt sienna and this green, we kind of blend them up over here. Permanent rose mixed with neutral tint so that we can darken these back ones here. And let's just bring the dark greens while they are wet. Bring them up, and then blend, tap with water. Variation of these colors blending, some lighter, some darker, some blend with the red, some we just leave it green. Okay, so we're treating this like a big mass of darkness. And this one, for example, let's just put this is a shadow, but this is hidden by the light, so the shadow is light as well. We still have details to put, but we need to start bringing the ground. So burnt sienna and mix with permanent rose. And we're gonna go ahead and start applying some of these warmer colors here into the ground. And as we do that, we're also gonna start giving it shape. As we get closer to here, I'm gonna start bringing some orange. This is translucent orange by Sminky. And then I blend. All is wet. I come with burnt sienna and I'm dropping in a couple areas, not everywhere. My burnt sienna is fairly thick this time. I'm gonna paint around my prickly pear bush. Bring it a little bit out, and then just with a blending brush we get it out, the rest. I am also warming up between these cactus leaves. Although they are going to be big shadows, but I need to be the light color, I need it to be darker, warmer. We need to warm we cannot leave it only here, but we're going to warm it up with colors that are not as bright. So coming back with the Indian yellow. Permanent rose and burnt sienna. We're still warming this up, but not with less bright colors. Finally, burnt sienna with permanent rose, but more diluted. And then we're going to bring a couple lines here and there. Smaller, less brighter, but they still need to be put. We have risen the temperature with all these brighter colors, earthy colors. Let's just put the last of the greenery here, and then what is left to do, first take care of a few details here, put the big shadows. First details, coming with my lifting brush, and we're gonna go ahead and start putting some of these ridges of this cactus. Go lightly, and then tap if you need to. You put a few of these dark ones. They don't need to be close to the lighter ones, or you could put it right next to them, however you prefer. Now I need to lift a little bit of highlights here as well. So I wet, then I lift. Nothing like as much, but these little things, look, if I put one over here, it's starting to read more like, in a very subtle way, but more like a cactus. Put it there, lift her, look at that. So much better. Finally, we put in these big shadows. This is burnt umber with a little bit of burnt sienna. Obviously, I am gonna put them like as they go away, less solid, come from more to less. Maybe some of these can even cross over, guide our eyes this way. And then let's just do this before I get a hard edge. So we're gonna bring these colors, these darker colors around here. That's why all of this is dark, and now it's starting to make a little bit more sense. Otherwise it felt like it was just a big dark thing over there by itself. And then as we get closer, of course, we fill this up. Bring some of that color inside here too. So the sharp is one of the reasons why it looks like it's hot. But I also need a transition. So now I'm coming with burnt sienna and put some in between them. Of course, the shadows are being put into this direction, so we're not gonna have another one here. This one, yes, this one will come around. A little bit of burnt umber with burnt sienna. And now some of the orange, a little bit of shadow underneath there, and then, but it's not the same shadows, not the cast shadows. Okay, what we're doing right now is ground these bushes so they are not floating. Tap with water. Let's just put a couple more here, lightly. A couple shadows, but lighter in this other direction. Warm up a couple things here. And I think that with these last few touches, we have that warm, dry desert feeling that I was hoping for. Now that our painting is finished, we can see how all that dry feeling of the desert is coming through. We accomplished that by doing a few smart things. One of them, we kept all our greens muted and the earthy tones on the ground, especially when we were coming closer, we put it with a little bit of color. Also keeping minimum detail in the back and just enough in the mountains so everything can be pushed back where it needed it. If you like to paint along with me, the Paint Along pack is an open studio and Patreon. And over there you will find the tracing and the reference picture alongside colors, etc. As always, I thank you for being here. I hope you learned something today. I will see you in my next video.